panel discussion, I'd like to share with all our audience members that our experience zone has a lot to offer. I'd like to request all of you to please visit the experience zone and get to try the demos, be a part of some very, very exciting offers all for you. I'd also like to encourage you to visit us in the photo booth, take pictures, tag us using our hashtag #ETWomenInTech. Let the world know what we're discussing right here. So you've got to take to our Twitter wall, which is available in the lobby area. As we get all set for our first panel discussion, Thought Leaders Tech Talk, Women-Led Technological Innovations in the Era of Globalization. The session will be moderated by Ms. Namrata Dubanshi, partner, McKinsey & Company, and a very warm welcome to our expert panelists. We have with us Ms. Meena Ganesh, co-founder, managing director, and CEO for Telemedicine. A very warm welcome to Ms. Neeru Sharma, co-founder, Team. May I also present a warm welcome to Ms. Prapna Gupta, CEO, Cache Technologies. And let me now hand over to Ms. Namrata Dubanshi.
Thank you very much, Isha. Good morning, everyone. It is indeed lovely to be here. Let me begin by acknowledging context. These are strange and unprecedented times. We're in the middle of a global pandemic, and I'm sure just as myself and many of us are still coming to terms with its implications. Technology and what it means to us, it's been around for millennia. Fire was probably one of the earliest technologies that transformed lives. As early as last evening, I'm sure many of us opened social media to look at photos of the sun setting in Mars, which was quite something to be able to look at that on our devices. So it almost begs the question, what does technology therefore mean to us in these current times? I think the Microsoft CEO said it best when he said in April that we have seen 2 years worth of digital transformation in 2 months. And indeed, it's quite remarkable the impact that it's had on businesses, on individuals, and the society at large. Before I open it up, I just want to leave one thought, which is, as we've looked at some of the data in the last 6 months, we are seeing a great acceleration happen. And what I mean by that is, if we look at companies, if we look at industry sectors that are in the top quintile or top quartile, companies that are in the top quintile or quartile are really pulling ahead. So those who are able to really capitalize on the opportunity are able to surge ahead. We are very fortunate in that we have a cross-section of panelists who represent healthcare, fintech, and technology. Would love to hear opening remarks from each of you. If I could hand that over to Meena yourself, maybe you can kick us off for what this means to you.
Yes, thank you, Namrata, and thank you for inviting me to be part of this panel. Like Namrata said, the last about 11 months have seen dramatic change in the healthcare sector, to a large extent driven by obviously COVID, but the technologies which already existed suddenly have become mainstream. And I want to speak a little bit about some of the big changes that I have seen. The first one, which is interestingly not about technology, but about regulatory changes that have happened. Literally overnight, the Telemedicine Act and the e-pharmacy regulations were passed so that it could be feasible for technology-based solutions to be offered in both these areas. And this particular regulation had been in the works for many years now. I think 3 to 4 years since it's been discussed, but literally overnight the changes came about. So clearly that was a huge push in the right direction. And thereafter, 2 things that I saw. One was that a lot of new solutions came about because of technology, and especially during the time when during lockdown and it was not possible for people to go out and access healthcare the way that they used to. Of course, teleconsultations, but remote monitoring of COVID positive patients who were home isolated. These are completely new thought processes which did not even exist in the minds of either the customers or the regulators or the government or the providers. So the kind of changes that we saw in terms of the usage of technology in creating new solutions, the second thing. And the third, of course, is the launch of NDHM by the government, which the whole purpose of which is to stitch the various pieces of the healthcare system into one digital platform so that data can flow easily, be it the health ID or the DigiDoctor or the way for health providers to register, or for insurance to manage the entire flow of data, which is so important for the closure of insurance claims. All of this, the purpose of NDHM is to tie all of this together so that data can actually flow through and we can see a seamless experience for people. So these are some of the immediate changes that I saw in the last 11 months. Of course, we'll be happy to talk about it more in detail later.
Thank you so much, Meena. Thank you. Indeed, the pace of change is quite something that's striking. Pratna, would you like to share your views, please?
Yeah, thank you so much, Namrata, and it's great to be here with all of you in this morning, and great to see everyone around here, and it's really an honor for us to meet all of you. Myself, Pratna, managing business in IT, which is into designing, building, implementation of technology framework of data center, networking, cyber security for our corporate customers. We are also providing consulting to the government for Safe City and Smart City framework. Plus, we are into video analytics and AI ML based solution for our customers. From my point of view, digital transformation still is associated solely with technological change, rather than digitizing parts of the business or adding some limited digital revenue as a stopgap. Our focus is on how to become digital at the core, to build and sustain a digital package that is complete, wide, and deep. Digital business transformation is a holistic approach to changing the way an organization thinks, organizes, operates, and behaves. We had been very lucky that in COVID-19 our family has not been affected, but the way we have seen the changes, because we have been dealing with telecom customers and government customers, we have actually provided the services in this crisis to our, and the way our company has been transformed in this era. I have seen the entire employees' behavior has been changed. Now everybody is ready to work 24/7 for our customers. Everybody has been providing the services anytime and every time from anywhere. And this has actually transformed the entire behavior of the organization to the people we are serving. And they are also accommodating. We all are accommodating with the customer. Customers are accommodating with us. And actually we have seen the customer behaviors, technological change, and societal change in our this era in COVID. And what Satya Nadella has actually told, that digital transformation, what we have not been doing for so many years, COVID has actually given us 2-3 months to transform and evolve around that, so that we all have been updated with this change. And we had no option but to adopt the changes. And that is the way we have actually, and we have survived. We have doubled our revenue this year, and we are doing great in this because being a technology company.
Thank you, Pratna. I think you touch upon an important point on people and what impact it has on individuals, and we'll circle back to that in a little bit. Neeru, would you like, from your vantage point in fintech, to please share your views?
Sure. So thank you so much, Namrata. I'm glad to be a part of this panel, and I'm sure it's going to be a very interesting discussion. So from our perspective, so at Infibeam, we are doing 3 kinds of businesses under the platforms, infrastructures, and payment solutions. That is what we provide. Now, if you look at the payment part of the story, so we've all been part of a digital economy today. And over this last 1 decade, consistently, India was witnessing this paradigm shift in the way digital technologies are being used to disrupt business operations, to influence consumer behavior. Now, across all customer segments and needs, I would say there is an adoption of the digital way of transacting. to enable pace, to enable scale, to enable innovation. So digital payments, in effect, we have witnessed a very steady growth, and this is across the globe, with the emerging markets pretty much leading this change. So while our payments journey has been marked by very specific events, the inflection point was the launch of UPI, and thereafter there was demonetization. Now today, if you see in this COVID era, we have seen so many consumers doing their first time purchases online. So digital almost became a need rather than a choice when it came to transacting using the digital means. Now, if you look at the payment and the platform business that we are empowering, so there is a number of retailers, there is a number of, I would say, brands for whom we are setting up online shops. So we provide them the infrastructure and the platform services and the frameworks to set up their online presence. Under this, we are also proud enough to be hosting GEM, which is Government e-Marketplace under the Ministry of Commerce. This is actually a revolutionary model to digitize all public procurement in India. And to our surprise, in the times of COVID, we saw so many new buyers and sellers on this digital platform who were transacting not just to buy the regular needs, rather it was all urgent procurement that they were relying only on the digital modes to purchase, because they knew that when everything else was kind of in a lockdown, there is some hope in getting these urgent needs fulfilled. And these were all like sanitizers and masks and everything, and digital paved a big way for them to enable the first time buyers to come and make an introduction to this digital way of buying, and thereby build a lot of trust. So not only in the private sector, we have seen a lot of changes in the public procurement sector, with the numbers at all-time high in the digital way of functioning. So I'm sure that COVID opened a lot of opportunities in digital, a lot of first-time customers for digital, and a lot of trust, which will go a long way.
Thank you, Neeru. Indeed, and therefore, as I listen to the opportunity that each of your organizations have, clearly the boundaries of what an organization could do is shifting. Who is competition is shifting. Right. And so as it opens immense opportunity up, as leaders of your own organizations, what is either the one biggest shift in strategy, for example, that you have made within your own organization, or the one biggest challenge that you're trying to overcome from a business strategy point of view? Would love to hear stories or details around that. Meena, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. So what I find changing is that while I talked about how technology has penetrated healthcare, what I've seen is the change in mindset of customers, change in mindset of regulators and the ecosystem. As you all know, insurance penetration in India is limited, and that too only to hospital-based care. But now we are seeing that insurance companies are talking to us, covering not just hospital-based care, but also outside of hospital care. What we had been trying for years so far has now got accelerated because of COVID. They have, to start with, of course, the regulator had forced everybody, all the insurance company, all the health insurance companies, to provide cover for home isolated COVID positive patients, and not necessarily those that were hospitalized. But that was just a start. What has happened is that people are realizing, insurance companies are realizing that it is better and sometimes probably a much, much better solution to keep people at home and manage their health there rather than move them into a hospital. And in some cases, post-hospitalization care is what decides whether a patient will recover completely or will get reinfected or will get rehospitalized. So if you are able to combine the hospital care with the outside of hospital care together and cover that as an insurance solution, then the impact of whatever is being done, whatever healthcare is being provided, is much, much more amplified and more impactful. So that is something that I'm seeing as a big change, and we are pursuing that. I'm also seeing a change in the minds of governments who earlier had looked primarily again only at hospital-based care or facility-based care for everything, and now looking at seeing how you can combine community-based care, home care, and also technology-based care into the whole healthcare ecosystem. These are two big strategic changes that we are seeing outside. what that means is, of course, that we as leaders need to know how to engage with these entities, how we are present when they're changing their mind, how we are able to come up with the right solutions for them so that they're able to convert whatever new thinking they have into reality. And we obviously can get a portion of that change that is happening in the ecosystem. So that's some of the changes that as leaders, our teams are having to go through.
It's fascinating, right? And as the quality of healthcare, same as hospital, shifts outside, it also helps us navigate our own infrastructure challenges. And for a company like yours, it just completely tremendously opens up what this could mean. That's truly fascinating, Meena. Neeru, what is the one biggest thing as this has happened for you? What is the one biggest thing you've done in the last 9 to 12 months?
I think since we are now all like there's no concept of an office, right? We are all working remote. The offices are everywhere. So I think only looking at the market, like global markets have opened. We are looking at opportunities. Not just e-commerce doesn't really mean just a retail store for us. E-commerce now could be an education solution, a health tech solution, a financial solution, or whatever. So there's so many different kinds of solutions and markets which are opening up because this pandemic was global and everybody globally is seeing the need of the same solution. So kind of opening the market is one big change. And yes, to culturally align when we are working remote has been kind of a struggle initially, but then we got used to we defined certain formulas, we got used to this way of working, and I think the productivity is back to the same levels.
That's true. And the panel discussion we are currently holding being case in point, by the way, right? We would have all trooped down some location, caught flights, but this is just truly seamless. I also noticed you touched upon globalization and Pratna, given the space you're in and technology services, would love to hear your views on that, on what shifts you've made, especially with respect to globalization or opening up of the opportunity. Sorry, you're on mute, Pratna. Yes.
Yeah, Namrata. Actually, I think we all have gone through crisis management in past 9 to 12 months time, and actually suddenly it all got changed for everyone. Human behavior, customers' behavior, technology updation, and everything. We all have gone through crisis management in each and everything. Because suddenly it happened and everybody started working from home, and then last mile connectivity for telecom customer was a problem, and customer needed the services, and then because of the lockdown we were not able to serve the customer, we were not able to serve our client also, and everybody was struggling with coping up with the some way so that the seamless transaction, seamless work can happen working from home. Then because we are working with all technology, this telecom customers, we had to ensure that our telecom customers should get the services from us so that they can actually reach out to their clients, they can reach out to their own employees, because that backbone is the major concern was the major concern while connecting with the world. And I think telecom operators have done wonderful job in this, and they have come up with all type of solution for customers, and we also have supported them in every way so that the business should happen seamlessly. There should not be any hurdle. And plus I have seen a change in government sentiments also. The way, because we had been working with so many MSME customers, all very large enterprise customers, and government, and we have seen the sentiments of government have changed. They are working with for Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, all those policies have been introduced. Plus small businesses, government has started supporting them in a big way. They have given extra limits, OD limits, extra credit limits, and then Make in India and all these local for vocal, all these things have been introduced by vocal for local, I'm sorry, has been introduced by government, so that we can make our business sustainable, and there should not be any gap. And I think government has been doing pretty well in this segment, so that we all should sustain our businesses. And we are actually working with a on a safe city project, where police is involved with us for creating a safe city where all those cameras can be installed, and women should be safe, and that is all video analytics based and AI ML and facial recognition based system, very very advanced system. And I have seen a drastic change in government official behavior, where everybody has started talking about analytics and AI and ML based solution. And earlier everything was a tradition way, but there are many things.
Got it.
And
Got it.
yeah, it's
right. Thank you, Pratna. As I reflect on the comments that each of you are making with respect to opportunity, there is tremendous opportunity, but it's also the pace, both in terms of how the regulatory changes are happening, but consumer behavior is shifting as well. And therefore, products and solutions that need to change to be able to cater to that. If we shift gears a bit to talking about, therefore, as leaders, what it means to be able to capture this kind of opportunity. So we've heard or we hear so much about now the need for agility, the need for more collaboration, the shift in organization culture, where it's not enough that just you as leaders are able to see it, but all the way to the front line, people are able to respond to this. So as leaders of your organizations, and you see this need for greater collaboration, greater empathy, greater agility, what are you going through as a leader? Right? What is the transformation you're going through as a leader? Neeru, would you like to start, please?
Yeah, so Namrata, I think you rightly touched upon this, the need for agility or the need for, I think, more interactions with the team has become massively important and more important than ever. So I think for me, culture has played a very big role. The right culture, if it is set, and it could start from anywhere, like it has to be across the company, across the entire employee set, across all geographies, because the culture is the only thing that eventually binds all of us. So I cannot lead a company of innovation if all my people are not thinking of new initiatives and thinking out of the box, and then coming in trying to solve some problem for some particular customer. And all the people have to be very well researched. So this culture of doing active market research, listening to the market, listening to the challenges, then participating in all these regulatory debates is also very important, because the government can also take the right moves only when they hear the industry. All the perspectives have to reach to the government. So there is a very active participation that we need to do, even with the public sector or the leaders from the government side, so that the voices are heard, the right decisions are made, and then they're implemented in the right manner. So I think more than ever, we see a lot of interactions happening between teams on what is happening in which sector across the globe. Since in India, we know that rural has been pretty much behind, and this digital disruption that has come off late, it has become the rural economy is also very together. So we see a number of ideas coming in the edutech sector. We see a number of ideas in the health tech sector. Now, to give you an example, I mean, so the government e-marketplace that we are talking about, so there was an issue that people would not trust the medicines so much, right? So counterfeit medicines was a big problem. So now there is partners who are doing a blockchain-based implementation, so that this is completely tightly led and there is increased trust. So the solutions are coming as soon as a problem is discovered and it is debated on the table. And then there is all sorts of government intervention in this to make sure that any regulatory hurdles are very early on met. So I think there's a lot of thanks, as Ms. Gupta also rightly said, there's a lot of thanks we want to give to the government, because they have been supporting this digital wave. And only with their involvement, I think we are in a position to sustain these past few years and go forward.
Thank you, Neeru. Meena, your reflections as a leader?
Yeah, so I'll give you an example of agility, real life example of what happened in the month of April. As the number of COVID cases were growing quite substantially, we started to have a dialogue with one of the state governments to say that not everything needs to go into a hospital. Can we help you in some other fashion to manage the huge flow of patients that are coming? Because the number of beds in the hospitals are going to be running out, not enough oxygen available, and so on and so forth. So the point was that it was very obvious that more than 85% of people who are COVID infected have no symptoms or have very mild symptoms, and they could very well stay at home. But at that point in time, there was no protocol, there was no technology, and there was no solution that was there for helping government know that these people who are at home are being managed properly. They are not getting sicker and they're not roaming around, and they are so both from a compliance perspective and also tracking their health was very important. So literally in a matter of week, we put together a solution. And 4th of May, we launched the home isolation monitoring for one of the states. And then after that, 6 different states worked with us, and we managed about 300,000 COVID positive patients, literally overnight. Now, but that was not all. The point was also that continuously throughout this process, the government kept changing the guidelines, because as they got more information, they knew better about how the spread was happening, or who needs to be kept for isolation for how long, or when the testing should be done, or what data needs to be captured, who needs to be hospitalized. The protocols are continuously changing. So the systems that we had created, the process that we had created, the technology platform had to be extremely agile, and we literally overnight used to keep changing all of these. And of course, the government was extraordinarily supportive, and there would be people working through the night along with us to make these changes. So that was amazing. But the real proof of agility was seen during this period of pandemic. Now, the important thing, of course, is not to lose that edge as an organization. That's what we need to now maintain. We need to ensure that this agility is not just during wartime, but also during peacetime. Hopefully, that's what we are headed to. How do you make that as a part of the DNA of the company is what we need to now reflect on.
And Meena, given that this is a Women in Tech Day that ET has put together, if I may say, as a leader, then I can imagine this must have been an interesting personal development journey as well for you to go through this. What was that like, and what was the one big thing that you had to personally change? And being a senior women leader, did that have any impact on this at all?
Well, I'm used to a lot of face-to-face, as all of us are, and a lot of travel. That's what that was my style of being with people, in front of them, to help them, to share my excitement and passion, and drive them towards the outcomes that the organization needs. But having to do that from a distance, and also I think as a woman, of course, I have grown up children, but I know that the women who have younger children have been at the highest degree of struggle. On one side, you need to deliver what you have, whatever is expected of you, and also you have to supervise your children's education or play or whatever it is. And especially if you have very small children, they're not going to listen to you. They will come and they will become part of the conversation. So I gave a lot of permission to my young women to bring their whole self into the conversations. If that's what was required, the child had to sit in your lap while you're having a conversation. That's fine. That's okay. Just make sure that work gets done. Let's all work together. I think that has, of course, for me, it was a good transformation in my thinking. But I think it made a lot of male leaders also realize that these are challenges for everybody. Because some of the men too had a similar challenge. The children would prefer to be on the father's lap while he's doing a video conference, not necessarily with the mother's lap all the time. So they suddenly realized how hard it is for a working woman. I think it's changed the way a gender balance is seen in a workplace, because both men and women have experienced the challenges.
That goes home to so many of us, all of us, like you said, with children, with pressure cookers, whistles in the background, and so on. But no, very well said, and thank you for sharing, Meena. Pratna, if I may request you to come in on this, and I know you're passionate about the impact this has had on individuals as well. So if I could ask you two questions. One is, as a leader who has gone through this, what did you personally have to change in yourself? And if you think about your employees, for example, what was the one or two big things that you think has impacted them?
Namrata, first of all, this 9 to 11 months, because I had been into this business for more than 30 years as of now. This was a great time when I spent time with my children. I never ever had been able to enjoy with my children, and they've grown. One is 26 years old, and second one is 19, 20 years old. And I never got time to cook with them in kitchen or wash utensils and everything. And the same way, I always support females, when they are struggling and working women especially. And I always think that they go through so many things, so many problems. So I always support I have more than 40%, because we connect international, if you know that organization. We are the certified professional coming from that background, and this is 100% owned by women, my organization. And what we have done, we have actually supported all our women staff, women employees, and they are still working from home. I have not asked them to come to office, and I have already accommodated and did everything for them, because I know they are going through so many things, and I want to see them, working with their children right now, because because fortunately we all have got this opportunity. So as as I think that as a mother, as a wife, as a employer, I think I had given all the good fair chance to all the working women. And of course I have changed myself a lot, if you say cultivated, because I have become very, very humble after this session, after this 9 to 11 months. Secondly, as a leader, we always have to ensure that you give back to country, you give back to nation, whatever you have earned from this society, whatever, because 30 years I have been into business. I think this is a good time when actually you contribute back to country. And wherever we require services, wherever we can actually give the consultancy to leaders, people, and how to cope up with the situation, we have always done this. And I think we have done fairly well this time, and gained lots of respect in the market, gained lots of good employees. We have retained many, our 100% employees also. We have gone through so many turmoils in the starting, but we have ensured that our staff should be with us, and we should cope up with this. And I think we did this time we did our 24/7 contribution to the industry. Every time we were available for customers, and their trust and their confidence has grown like anything, and we have done tremendously well. And but my suggestion as a leader, that the time has come, then we don't have to think about our organization and what we are doing with for the organization. We should start helping people also to cope up with this. And moreover, I think we all stood for society also.
Sure.
We all help each other, and
Indeed.
globally we all helped, we all got connected. We all, I think our human nature, it has come out very well in this time, I think.
Indeed.
That is what, yeah.
Yes.
And what Neeru said, that government has actually helped us a lot. And I give lots of credit to government, to to not shatter our confidence, and we did pretty well in this.
Got it. I'm also just watching the clock, and I know we have to bring this to a close. I should just say this is my first time when I've been on a panel with all women. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I think I walk away with a lot of energy, listening not just to the opportunity that is immense, but also to the personal transformation that each of you are leading within your organizations. In closing, if I may just request you to say one word of advice or a few words of advice to a young person today who is entering the workforce, what is the one piece of advice that you would have? Neeru, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I mean, since this is not a woman-focused question, I would say that anybody who is entering the workforce today, I think the opportunities are unlimited, and this is the most impactful time, and you can actually go in out there and make a huge change to the actual nation, to the actual global economy, and you should be proud of entering at this time.
Thank you, Neeru. Pratna, do you just want to say one final word of advice?
Yeah, I think we should advise people to become more focused, more sincere, and more updated with technology. And actually, opportunity is too much. Many opportunities are there. If you talk about government vertical, if you talk about large enterprise vertical, if you are actually good and hardworking and updated with technology, nobody can stop you. This is the right time to actually prove yourself that you are a good entrepreneur.
Thank you. And Meena, last word of advice from you.
I wanted to say that this pandemic or this kind of disruption, this is not going to be the only time. There would be all kinds of disruption that will happen. What is important for each of us as youngsters or elders to know that be ready to change, be ready to learn, have a growth mindset that you have to keep evolving. Problems are nothing but solutions or opportunities on the other side of the coin. So how do you look at the other side of the coin and know what to look for and keep growing yourself so that you can benefit from that opportunity and also not get impacted by the challenge that's facing you right now.
Thank you so much. And thank you once again to all of you for your time, for your wisdom, and for your comments. It's been lovely interacting with you today.
Thank you, Namrata, for managing this panel so well. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Namrata.